Larry's muted.
You're muted, Larry.
Present.
Okay, thank you. And Priya is not here. Okay. We did not end up having an executive session this evening, so we're going to open up with public input for anyone in the room. If you're going to speak, could you come where people can see you? And anyone online, please raise your hand. Seeing no one in the room or online, we're going to move to new business, and we're going to move to updates on sites under consideration. So any updates on 984 or 1300?
So there has been work going on at both sites this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. We have engineers and LSPs out to both sites, inside and outside. And Jeff may be able to give us more. There's also more testing planned for next week, I believe on the 10th.
Okay, for both sites?
For at least one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a couple of meetings ago.
They will be on site 984 to do the drilling for the borings that will be used for both geotechnical evaluation of the soils on the site, as well as an environmental phase 2 analysis. We will hope to have those results as soon as possible, but as soon as we do, we will distribute them to the committee with the engineer's evaluation of those results via email before we have their final report. So you'll get it in your hands as soon as it's reasonably ready for you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So I think I keep putting review site matrix on just in case we're going to have more to do, but I think we don't yet have that. Okay, so then when we go to town meeting, one of the articles we're going to have is for the site design and bidding work. So that's the one we went to town meeting before and we did not pass it. So we're bringing it again. So Context and Vertex are working on that estimate. And they're going to have that for us. Will it be next week?
Yes, Mary, that was the intention for the next Thursday.
Okay.
You have a meeting next Thursday?
We do. Okay.
It's chief, because I told him we didn't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I don't have that in my book.
Yeah, we're having next
Sorry.
Thursday and then we'll go through it at the end, but not the rest of the month.
Next Thursday, we'll be back in the Grange, regular time and location.
Yeah.
Chief, we have a meeting next Thursday. Oh, sorry.
And I think we will.
Okay.
I think we want to plan the executive session that we had canceled from tonight, because we should have more information next week.
Okay, very good. All right. When they do the site design and bid estimate, so right now we have 3 plots, 3 pieces of land on the table. If we go to town meeting with one, we'll have the number for that site for the site design estimate. If we go to town meeting with 2 plots, we're going to go to town meeting with the higher site design cost, and it will be an up to cost. But that way we cover our bases. So I just want to make that clear. All right, so then special town meeting, it's March 9th. We have our timeline and decision points. I think we've gone through all that, so I don't think we need to make a decision by January 8th. And so we're meeting on the 5th and the 8th. And so, you know, when Jeff said we're going to get an email with the findings, it's going to be before the full report, because the full report may actually come after the 8th. And so we're going to need that information on the 5th. Because of the holidays, you know, it takes time. They have to do the work, and then it takes time. It has to go to the lab, and that takes about 10 business days, and then they have to write their report. So we'll get their early findings, and then it'll follow with a report.
which will be the detail, but we'll have all the information that we need to make a
Exactly.
decision.
Exactly. So the site matrix will definitely come into play on the 5th. I think we're gonna have all the information we need and we'll make some decisions. And between the 5th and the 8th, we'll have the discussion we need to have, the review, the discussion, and the decisions. So then we're putting forward 2 or 3 warrant articles on March 9th. One is the new firehouse design and bid funding. And so I've given us a draft to look at today with a lot of X's in it and yellow highlighting so that we can
That was
fill
the
in those
packet, right?
X's.
So
It was in the
Yes.
packet.
Be to share it on.
Sure, that's a good
Just
idea.
have a second. to put
Yeah.
it up.
This is based on the one we brought to town meeting last time, and no need to redo things. And so what my hope is tonight is we can come up with the wording on this article and another that we feel really comfortable with. So then on January 8th, we're just filling in the blanks and not having a lot of discussion around the detailed wording.
Right, so we'll share that.
Mary, when you said it's due January 8th, and then our meeting's on the 8th.
Well, it's due to the town hall on the 9th at 9 a.m.
Okay, so we have
So
the 8th, okay.
we have the 8th, we'll have the full discussion, and then probably knowing my life, because I have yoga from 7:30 to 8:30, I will go home and do it that night and submit it that night. That way it's in and we've met our deadline. So I would love to talk about this and the wording, and if there's anything you all want to change. So the article itself would say new firehouse design and bid funding. And to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, borrow or otherwise provide the sum of X dollars written in words and numerals, more or less, to design, prepare construction drawings, pre-qualify contractors, bid the construction, and determine the lowest responsible general bid for a new firehouse, including all related and incidental costs, or take any other relative action thereto.
So that item will know the absolute correct cost because they're gonna quote it. We'll hear
Correct.
from Steve, who will get it from. Jeff.
Correct. We're gonna talk about it next week. And then we will have, different estimates and we'll then put in the correct estimate by the 8th.
Right, this price isn't site dependent.
It is a little bit site dependent. So that's what I was saying. If we are going with only one site, it'll be the fees that relate to that site. If we go with 2, it'll be the higher of the 2 fees. So we're covered.
Could Jeff maybe explain what the difference is between the 2 sites?
Sure.
Or possible. Any 2 sites or any of the?
No.
The difference between all of them.
No,
Yeah.
why there is a difference?
Why there
between
is a
the
differential
2
across sites. So
the 3
Jeff,
sites?
do you want to
Yeah.
take that?
So we, anecdotally, I mean, as we're putting the fees together, we clearly have not done more design work on 2 of these sites. 72 Stowe Road has had a design performed on it. So the design team has more information about maybe how much it would cost to do a design. Now, that all being said, all 3 sites are being based upon the building roughly being the same as what was designed for 72 Stowe Road. So all except for the site professionals, their fees are pretty much not going to change. It's irrespective of the site, because the sites don't present so many different challenges to the building design that the building itself would have to be reconfigured. For instance, there's no topography drop-offs, or issues of maybe one site has a basement and the other site doesn't. They're all being kind of designed the same way from the building perspective, but from the site professionals perspective, like the geotechnical engineer and the maybe geothermal engineer, as well as the civil engineer and some of the other landscape and on, the folks that deal with the site, those are different comparatively, depending on how much topography they have to deal with, retaining wall designs, design for stormwater, or all myriad of other factors that, are very specific to each individual site. So we see 984 being probably, you know, across the average of everything being probably the most costly from a design perspective. And that's what we based our initial fees on for how we're budgeting this work. But if should the committee decide to not pick that site and pick a different site, Steve and I will be working on adjusting the fee budget to accommodate slightly different number. Now, that being said, I don't think it's going to be drastically different, but it will be a different number so that it's more appropriate to the particular site that's chosen.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, so, and I do want to have a discussion about another piece of the work that would affect both the design and the actual building. It's around the green stuff, but I think since we started on this, let's finish the wording on this and then we'll go to that.
think, so the only thing is if we had two, that would say, raise appropriate, the provide up to the sum of, or the sum of up to so many dollars. Right, because that's what we said.
Otherwise, provide up, yes, how does that?
That doesn't
Provide,
up to
yeah,
the sum of, does not. work, but-
otherwise, provide the sum of,
Because if we don't know, if we go to two sites, we won't know which one we pick. So we need to put that, the higher amount for the design.
because,
Yes.
right, so if, say we pick, okay, say the costs are more at 984 and we put 984 and 1,300 on the table. So we go with the 984 cost, but say in the end, we go with 1,300, then we wouldn't spend all that money. So we want to say up to, so that the town knows we're not just taking the extra money
In other
to
words, take
have a fluff.
gravy dollars.
Plus-
Exactly, no gravy dollars.
It depends on how these are lined up. If you're gonna do the purchase of properties first, then you actually would move the lower amount
Correct.
for this article.
And-
It wouldn't be that we take that amount and not spend it. We
Right.
just move the amount to that piece of property.
And as a third discussion, we should tonight, or we can start tonight and finish next week. If we want to recommend an order to the select board, I understand it's their warrant. But I think if we had a recommended order, they would take that into consideration. So how do we get up to into here?
Does the more or less not cover up to?
No.
Well, let me ask you this, does it matter here, or would the up to go into the contract? You know what I
No, it
mean?
matters here, because this is where we need to go.
Why wouldn't you
Okay.
just say provide
Okay.
up to the sum of X?
Or provide, yeah, why do we say otherwise provide? Oh, because you're saying all these different methods.
Yes, right.
Is there one?
Transfer available funds, borrow, or otherwise provide. If someone makes a donation of $2 million, we can take that donation.
Can we say,
That's-
drop the sum and say up to X dollars?
Sure, I don't know, why not, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
Provide
it's
up to
more or
it.
less, because it's not more, it's gonna be less.
What is
It
it?
can be
Well,
up to 10% more.
I think, well, that's what I think.
It's a
I think
sketchy.
that's just a guideline for if it costs 50 cents more, the whole deal's not off.
Right.
Well, what is the limit?
Well,
Is that a dentist thing or where does that come from? More or less?
I've
5%,
always seen it
10%?
in town. I don't know.
So
What is
it's the moderators have always, John did this and Dennis, up to 10% above what's printed within reason. It needs to be within
Oh.
four corners.
So that when we move it,
Yeah.
we don't say more or less.
No, there'll be a motion. This will
The
be different. than
motion
this.
won't be
Right.
quite
So maybe
exactly
that's
like
why, because
this.
it's giving
Yeah.
warning that it could be slightly more, slightly less.
Yes,
Though we
It's-
should just do the highest amount we think.
right,
It's always better to go down than up.
exactly,
So.
exactly. Any other? And I would take comments from Steve and Jeff if we have all that to design, prepare construction drawings, et cetera. Does that fit what we are bidding here?
The only thing I would potentially add is in the last paragraph that we were saying in the last sentence to try to cap the construction phase at X dollars. And whenever we do this, that's going to be the big number, right?
Yeah,
So people are going to think, well, is that what the building's going to cost? And in fact, it's going to carry a pretty good fee for the OPM and the whole construction administration phase for the architect and all the consultants too, which is a considerable amount of money. And we may want to break that down in the sentence to say it's for construction, contingencies, and and consultants, because that's going to be basically the one number of people that are going to say, well, are you saying that this building costs $1,300 a square foot?
yeah, but now that you say this, we're not gonna know this by January 8th. I think we need to say, in the final step, an article will come back to town meeting in the future to request funds for constructing the new firehouse, period.
Yeah, we don't have an estimate.
And then
People are
At
gonna ask.
town meeting, we will have the information.
we will have the information.
Right, but
Or
not
we
for the
still have
warrant.
an
So,
estimate.
okay, so then we're not going to put a number in this.
Correct. I don't think we can. It's not
Or-
gonna.
or you- Or Mary, you put in a range. You don't, I wouldn't put a single number in though.
I like just stop it after firehouse. And then talking to it at town meeting.
Yeah, okay,
Because the problem is, no matter what you do, you put in a range, people are gonna see the lower number
I know.
and say, well, you said
right, right.
$28 million, and now it's $30 million. And so we just don't put the range in there, because we don't have real numbers around that.
Right.
Um,
Okay, so we dropped that, most of that paragraph, just keep the first sentence.
Maybe just put that first sentence at the end of
Yes,
the above paragraph.
Can we go paragraph by paragraph?
yes.
Okay.
So the actual motion or the actual article piece, the first paragraph, to see if any edits in that paragraph, other than, or otherwise provide up to X dollars, more or less. Okay. Then under the summary, the first paragraph. I'm gonna not read everything to everyone, but let you read it and comment.
hold on. Will all details to bid the project, pre-qualified bidders bid the project.
It's all
This-
the so.
This is all, this is the
phase-
same language you brought last time, no?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
This phase will
It just reads
include
kind of-
construction drawings, including all details to bid the project.
Yeah.
It's qualifying the construction drawings.
Right. It just, doesn't it sound weird? If you read it and
A
you
little
really,
bit,
if you're
yeah.
not sitting around this table with all the details to bid the project, pre-qualified bidders bid the project.
Yeah,
Because we know what that means.
I mean, the first sentence, this is a picky thing maybe, but I think it either needs to say complete the design and bidding phase or complete design and bidding period.
okay. I'm fine with complete the design and bidding phase, but let's go back to this other one.
Include construction drawings.
This phase will include construction drawings.
In other words, there's no phase, there's no second phase.
Do we need to put?
Could we
bid
say
project?
this phase will include comprehensive construction drawings?
I would just say drawings, Mary.
Okay,
I don't think we need extra language there.
well, we're talking about dropping with all details to bid the project.
Or keep the all details, it's just the way it reads, all details to bid the project, pre-qualified bidders bid the project.
Pre-qualification of bidders. Bidding
Okay.
of the project.
Yep, I think we can, the first,
You guys are moving off of what Maria's trying to deal with, so
Yeah,
let's
so-
stay with
But
Maria's
if
point.
Maria's being crazy about it, Maria can let it go.
Okay,
This is not a hill I need to die on. I just
Okay.
think, for
I
me.
don't think you need the details to bid the project. I don't think you need.
okay.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
this phase will include construction drawings, pre-qualification
That's better.
Of bidders.
of bidders. Now we're making them all nouns, so bid the project is a
Bid of
verb.
the project.
What's that?
Bid of the project?
Project
Or
bidding
Bidding the project?
or project bidding? Bidding the project? I don't know, what's the right,
That doesn't sound right. is the project?
Well, usually when you do a list, they're all nouns or they're all
Yeah,
verbs. And
right.
so I'm trying to have agreement.
It would be bidding of the project.
Bidding
Yeah.
of the project, bidding
Select the lowest
of the
qualified
project,
bidder.
selection
Yes.
of the
Of the
lowest
lowest. Yep.
qualified bidder and sub-bidders.
Remove, Mary,
Yeah.
please remove the word sub-bidders because the town doesn't actually select the sub-bidders.
Yeah, you could,
Okay.
it's qualified general bidder. And get rid of
Selection
and sub bidders.
Selection of the lowest qualified bidder,
General bidder.
qualified general bidder.
Yep. Because he's a general contractor.
And coming back to the voters at a future town meeting with the full exact price to construct and deliver a new firehouse, including blah, blah, blah.
Can we not put a period in there somewhere?
Yes. I'll do it additionally. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So voting yes for this article will provide funding for the town's owner's project manager, OPM, architect, and consultant team to move from conceptual to complete design. It's not there's no design, the there. From conceptual to complete design and bidding phase. This phase will include construction drawings, pre-qualification of bidders, bidding of the project, selection of the lowest qualified bidder,
General.
and
The lowest.
lowest qualified general bidder, and there's an and in there, and selection of the lowest qualified general bidder.
Period.
Period.
We will then come back.
Yes,
It can be that simple.
we will then come back to the voters at a future town meeting with the full exact price to construct and deliver a new firehouse, including all furniture, fixtures, landscape, and demolition of buildings on site.
Demolition of buildings on site, okay.
Then, okay, so that paragraph
And
is,
that may change depending on the property we pick. We may just take out.
all sites have
Oh,
buildings.
Oh, they all have. oh,
They all
whatever,
have
whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I was wondering if after that, we've talked a lot about. I know this is like a butter concern, town concerns. Is there any way that we can include in this language, discussion of like mitigation during construction? Because like that plan should be developed by this time, like mitigation of construction
Oh, so
operations and.
In that
like
list,
that.
okay.
in the list of what we're doing, the complete design will include,
I know this was very specific to the discussion around 72 Stowe Road, but we
Right.
don't know what the concerns are yet for 1300 and 984 because we haven't really heard much from folks.
Right.
But like, just to, we've heard the town people say, like, we are concerned about this, so can we add that into our summary?
So is that gonna be in that last section there? Exact price to construct and deliver a new firehouse, including all furniture, fixtures, landscaping, demolition of buildings and mitigation plans? Or, cause how do you, right?
yeah, so let me understand first. Where does the mitigation plan happen? In the design phase or
Yeah.
in the,
I mean, Steve, I would think that we would have a mitigation plan in the design phase, because that would be part of pre-con.
Yeah, you want to have it in the bid document so that because the mitigation plan is going to be enacted by the contractor or a good portion of it. So that's got to be something that they're going to be bidding on. So yeah,
And
it
some of
would be
that-
done during design.
Right, and some of
Okay.
that is gonna be built into the design,
right,
right?
Yeah, it
So
should be,
that's-
yeah, absolutely,
right?
but like.
Lighting,
can we
fencing,
call it out here?
right. So this phase will include construction drawings, any a mitigation plan if necessary.
and
I mean, I feel like it doesn't matter what
Any
site it's gonna be,
necessary.
there's going to be a mitigation.
Okay.
Or any appropriate,
mitigation plan.
mitigation.
I don't think we have to say the details of the mitigation
We're
plan,
just
but there
saying
will be a
mitigation.
mitigation plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so this phase will include construction drawings, a mitigation plan, comma, pre-qualification
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
et cetera. Because it's gonna be part of, it goes, in the time order, it goes conceptual design, you don't like that, though?
Yeah, no, that, okay.
So it's almost like you want to get, instead of this phase will include, find a different word, this phase will blank construction drawings, including mitigation plans. You want to include that, because that's
Okay,
gonna be part of the project. And I assume, I don't know, you tell me, Sarah,
Yeah,
like, is that that's gonna be part of the construction design? Whether it's the
yeah,
landscaping
there'll be
or,
some kind of plan or narrative or something around it.
but it's part of the drawing.
It'll be included in the,
Right.
construction.
Some of it will be temporary conditions, some of it will be permanent.
Yeah,
I think if you want to address a butter's concerns, it's, you know, it's probably a good thing to put in there, but you gotta be careful because if we put too much of what we're doing, this is gonna go on for pages.
so
Right.
yeah, that's why.
You know what I
said,
mean?
like,
Yeah.
if we can leave it as like mitigation plan,
That's it, yeah, yep.
like,
yeah,
and that's it.
but so this phase will, I don't know what verb to use, skip, construction drawings, including a mitigation plan, pre-qualification of bidders, blah, blah, blah. So, but we don't want to use include twice, so I don't have my thesaurus in front of me.
Look it up.
You gonna look it up? You want Siri to look it up?
It will involve, it will develop, but it will include, but include goes with everything else, include pre-qualification, include bidding, include general. Maybe we change the second, construction drawings with a mitigation plan.
Or you could just do comma, a mitigation plan,
Oh,
Right.
so is it separate?
qualification of bidders. Just make it a separate item.
Okay, so this phase will include construction drawings, comma, a mitigation plan, comma, pre-qualification of bidders, et cetera. Okay,
I think that's good.
all right. Hopefully I will understand this all tomorrow, but I think I got it. So let's go to over the past 20 months. The Fire Station Building Committee has worked closely with Vertex, our owner's project manager, in context architecture to review parcels of land for their feasibility to situate a new firehouse and develop the cost estimate for this article. This next step in the project involves fully designing a new firehouse, preparing the construction specifications and drawings, pre-qualifying contractors for the bid, putting the project out to bid, and selecting the lowest general bid.
Not what we just said?
It
feel like
is,
it
it is duplicative,
Yeah.
duplicative.
Yes.
For this work, the cost is X. In the final step, an article will come back to town meeting in the future to request funds for constructing the new firehouse. So we can,
They don't need it in two different places.
right,
We worked really hard to make that first paragraph. sound.
so over the past maybe the summary starts with, over the past 20 months, the Fire Station Building Committee has worked closely with Vertex, our owner's project manager, and Context Architecture to review parcels of land for their feasibility to situate a new firehouse and develop the cost estimate for this article. Voting yes for this article, blah, blah, blah. Then we drop everything until then we have for this work. So after and demolition of buildings on site, for this work, the cost is X dollars. In the final step, an article will come back to town meeting in the future to request future funds for constructing the new firehouse. Does that work?
Do we want to say step when we're at the top, we're talking about phase?
Where you gonna
You're
be?
right.
The very
Yeah.
first paragraph, we say this phase will include. But then below, we're now talking about steps. Is
Okay.
that steps in the phase or?
No, in the final phase.
Okay.
An article will come back. Okay, so 1,
Now we've got 2 phases.
2,
Now we have 2 phases, right? Next time.
Do we need to talk or like mention in this final phase about the ballot vote?
no.
No, because that's not, well, there will be a ballot vote after this meeting.
There will be one after this
Yeah.
and one after that, but
Right.
we don't need to put
We
it
don't need to
in here.
mention that in here.
No, we can put it in the presentation.
Same various presentation.
Yeah. We want this to be as short as possible. And remember, we're still gonna write a recommendation from the fire station building. So we can,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And, yeah, and if you put it in there, you don't want the questions to be, because people do read these, right?
Yeah.
And then they come
Yeah.
down to questions. You don't want questions to be around the process as much as around the process for the design
Correct.
versus the process to get funded, kind of, because we can address that at the meeting.
so I'm gonna make these edits and I'm gonna send this out again and we'll review it next week. Okay?
We're gonna email you what I was. I'll email it to you.
What's that?
I'll email you the edits and you can. match
Oh,
them.
oh, you made it. Wow.
Yeah, so you don't have to type.
Thank you. All right. I appreciate that. So then, okay, so let's go to the two other things. So one of the things we need to consider is when we do, the town was pretty clear they want us to go the green route. When we go the green route, one of the things you can do is design it and build it so it's LEED certified. There is a cost to that. There's a cost, I think, to actually do the certification, but there's also a cost to all the people who are observing, making sure it's done the right way, and to then kind of assess it for the certification. There's another approach where you could make it LEED certifiable, which means if you were to have paid all those other costs, it would get certified. It's meeting all the standards, but you're not being assessed for that. We should decide which way we want to go.
Do we have any idea what the cost is?
Jeff? I told him yesterday.
Yeah, no, this is going to be, yeah, I'm up. All right. So the budget that Steve and I have been working on has included within it the fees for going full LEED certification. And that can be presented as part of the overall project cost. We can also, or instead of, provide a fee that's LEED certifiable, which would reduce the work required on the design side to some degree, because we wouldn't be proving and going through the steps to do all of the documentation and provide it to SGBC and work with them on comments and ultimately get to a conclusion. And probably a more important point is that the contractor would not be required to go to the lengths necessary to meet all of the LEED requirements. In other words, LEED certifiable allows us more flexibility in what we choose to do that's important to us for sustainability versus other things that are just mandates from LEED. Although LEED's a great program and we've done it before, there might be things the town would choose not to do. And at a minimum, they wouldn't have to go through the process of working directly with USGBC to get the official certification. So within our overall fees, there's approximately $75,000 or so that's strictly for LEED work from the design team, from a consultant. And then there's, a couple, $10, maybe $20,000 worth of services from context. So we'll call it $100,000 that's on the table from the design side. If we went to LEED certifiable, that would be reduced.
How do we go from 45,000 to 100,000?
Yeah, I got 45 to 55K, not 100.
Yeah, if it's 100, that's fine. You gave us numbers for 45.
I'm not sure where we're looking.
You said 35K for LEED design, it would be 35K less, and then 10 to 20K less for context. And so that adds up.
I think you may have missed,
55.
maybe I wasn't clear in the transmission of, I don't know, they had a glitch in the audio, but it was 75,000 for the consultant plus another 20 for context. So I said, call it rough numbers,
Okay.
about 100. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, we heard that wrong.
There are other aspects of the sustainability piece, including energy analysis and energy code modeling that we have to do, which make up the full totality of all the sustainable design that's going to be on the project. But the lead specific piece is a portion of that. If we were to do certifiable, that 100,000 would be cut down. And I can't say exactly because I haven't asked the consultant to give us a number on that, but it could be maybe half. But I think the reality is you're probably going to find more of the savings on the contractor side of things. We had projected certain things when we were doing some earlier estimating of the project for green components. It's hard to say at this point what the town would want to do versus not want to do if they weren't doing LEED. But certainly things like geothermal is something that was on the table, irrespective of whether we're doing LEED or not. And that would be, probably the biggest component of that. Something else like photovoltaics or PV panels would maybe be something the town also wants to do, irrespective of LEED. But there are other probably easier things to do, like low VOC paints and renewable materials, and just sort of design strategies to provide a healthy interior environment, things to do with recycling construction materials as you're going through construction, and water usage, that are basically just done on every single one of our projects and don't cost the town any more money. So I think it all sort of boils down to the additional cost that LEED certification may add to the contractor's price, because there's management that they have to do to meet those requirements. It's not simply about buying the right materials and installing them. It's also about the paperwork associated with that management to go back to the LEED folks and prove that we've all met these requirements. So that's probably more of what we end up saving rather than the literal bricks and mortar on the project.
And that filters down to the subcontractors also. So it's sort of an additive thing.
Right.
Well, we have no idea what that number looks like, right?
Do you have a sense of that number?
We had speculated as much as, 2 to 4% of the overall construction cost. Again, we don't really have a design, so it's hard to say. But historically, it could be as low as 2%.
2% of the overall cost just for the paperwork side, or was that
for all of LEED certification? For LEED certification.
Okay. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, okay, Larry?
Yeah, I have a question to Steve and Jeff. How frequently are municipalities seeking LEED certification for this type of building? Are you working on any now? It seems like this is an old concept that's not being pursued.
The approach I've always taken is to recommend designing towards LEED, but not going for the actual LEED certification to save the costs that we're talking about, because these projects are always budget driven, and there is a cost that comes in. Jeff has a cost. We have a much smaller cost, but we still have to make sure we're managing, that the contractor's managing the LEED paperwork. So the short answer is no. I mean, we want to go as green as we possibly can within the constraints of a budget, but we have on a fire station, at least in my experience, fire stations, town halls, senior centers, this sort of size project is not going for the LEED gold, LEED silver. On the bigger schools, it's discussed, but not even some of the schools don't go for the actual certification.
We've done two fire stations that are LEED certified. Both happen to be in one town, in Arlington, and they had at the time they had a rule that all town projects had to meet LEED silver or better. And I haven't worked there in a little while, so I don't know if they still have that rule. But that was done about 15 years ago or so. And so probably a little bit more in the heyday of
Yeah.
LEED. And I think you're absolutely right in the sense that, once everybody realized you can do what Steve's talking about, which is make them design to be designed in the spirit of LEED essentially, but not provable that it would actually beat LEED. A lot of municipalities just sort of walked away from that and really embraced energy efficiency and, really tight from an energy perspective as their ultimate goals. And so there's things like net zero and all of the incentive-based programs from the utilities that the municipalities, that's what we're really finding people want to push. But there are some towns that still would like to have the buildings be sustainable as possible. They just don't go so far as to mandate a LEED certification. And so I haven't met with a town in at least a dozen years that has been serious about.
Yeah,
actually-
that's my sense, and I think that it's something that we should not pay for. It's something that we should pursue. The money should be spent on the efficiency goals, because at this point, the bulk of your specifications are what would be considered, in many cases, LEED specs. We're going to have conversations with the engineer about a whole range of systems. We're going to make decisions. It's going to be part of the design discussion, with the focus being on, efficiency. But I don't think the process is laborious, and it used to be sort of a badge that a municipality or a private developer would carry to prove that his product was superior to his competition. But it's really not that. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I would stress that does not a whole lot is going to change about how we design this building.
Right. Exactly.
Certified project. We would still, as a design team, be trying to push to be the most sustainable we can within the constraints of the budget. But for folks that might want incontrovertible proof that we've done it, we just won't be able to provide that LEED documentation that they might otherwise look at.
But we're going to be under such financial pressure from the very get-go that adding additional percentages for things like this, where we're not going to necessarily see the return on efficiencies, which is, I think, a concern that we all have, doesn't seem to make sense.
I think the effort is better put into going after the incentive programs that are out there.
In
particular, Mass Save, Path One.
But to that point, by not having LEED, that doesn't hurt us for any of the incentive or grant type programs?
No.
Those programs really focus on energy efficiency, not LEED. There's no requirement for LEED in any of those programs. A lot of the incentives, basically all of them, you're working under a Mass Save type arrangement where you're working basically with the utility at the early design stage to design the building in a way that the utility looks at it in the most energy efficient way, because they're trying to essentially give out money to make space within the grid. So it's better to do that than what would be considered a rebate system, whereas you buy a water heater and they give you $100 for it or something like that. This incentive-based program has multiple tiers, but in some of the higher tiers you can get significant money.
The Norfolk Fire Station was successful with getting reimbursement, and they're currently in the post-occupancy verification phase to potentially get another incentive check. So, and they've sort of established the EUI for fire stations based on that particular station.
They also will pursue us. I mean, I've had many projects where the utilities are pursuing, calling us up cold, saying, "I see you guys, won this project. Who can we talk to about an incentive-based program?" So I think there'll be a lot of.
They have people on staff doing that.
Yeah, that's what happened with the schools. They approached us and
Yeah.
we got a nice rebate. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up next week just because it wasn't a specific thing on our agenda. It fell under this design cost, but I want to allow people on the sustainability committee or other community members to weigh in. So I'm gonna put it on the agenda for next week, so we can finalize the decision then, but.
Well, what I'm hearing is, other than a nice plaque on the wall in the chief's office that says this building is LEED certified, there's no financial incentive to do it. We don't get a reward for doing it.
Correct.
And it costs us money.
And it costs money.
And you have to
That's
pay
right, Al.
more for that plaque too, it doesn't.
You have to
don't
pay-
actually just get a plaque, buy it too.
Okay, but I think what I'm hearing here and some head nodding and stuff is we should be right now bidding with a certifiable. Your design fee should be around certifiable.
We'll do that.
Thank you. All right, the other thing then, well, let's go to the next article and then we can talk about the order of the articles. So the next article is the purchase of property at X for a new firehouse. And this we could modify for, if we go for two, we modify it one way and another way. So to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, borrow or otherwise provide the sum of X dollars in words and numerals, more or less, to purchase for municipal purposes a certain parcel of land located at address Foxborough, Massachusetts, shown as assessor's map and parcel number inserted, and containing approximately X acres for the purpose of constructing a new firehouse and for all other related municipal purposes, and further to authorize the select board to enter into agreement and execute any and all documents as may be necessary to effect said acquisition or take any other action relative thereto.
So depending on properties, I foresee for all other related municipal purposes as an issue if 72 is one of the two properties. 72 Stowe Road, because we were very specific. Right?
Well, I think the key word there is related. So it's the firehouse, but it's the emergency services, and we can spell it out. We can spell it out the way the zoning match the zoning.
How does the zoning doesn't read municipal, does it? It
Yes,
reads,
that word's in
no,
there.
no, but specifically for the firehouse,
Yeah.
it says public safety.
It says public safety, and it had a little more like emergency
Yeah,
management.
so I think we should say for all other related public safety purposes, because I don't want to go back through this.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be the noise at the
Why don't
meeting.
we just say what we said then?
Yeah,
Take out municipal purposes
Right.
and just use the same phrase.
Right.
okay, so I'll look at the zoning for that.
Good point, Marie.
Okay. Anything else?
Not in that first one.
Okay. Then the summary, this article seeks town meeting authorization to purchase the property located at X as a site for a new firehouse. The parcel provides access to Mass Ave, whatever, allowing for effective emergency response coverage and response times. The appropriation of X would cover the cost of the property acquisition and related expenses. And I have a question there, but this article funds only the purchase of the land. A separate future town meeting vote would be required to fund construction of the new station. And I should say new firehouse.
So the parcel provides access to X, allowing for effective emergency response coverage and response times. And again, I go back to if 72 is one of the parcels.
So here we would say something like the parcel provides access to Stowe Road and Mass Ave within 150 feet.
Yeah, I guess I don't know why that portion of that is there.
It doesn't have to be there.
That's
This parcel allows for effective emergency response.
I think so.
Okay,
Right, because we know that Stowe Road still allows for an effective emergency response. We talked
Yeah.
about that. So it's,
Will there be other legal costs?
that's my question. When we do the price here, So just say, for example, it's the 1.2 million at Stowe Road. Are we gonna ask for more money because I've never done a municipal purchase, but like when you do a home, there's points and a cost to purchasing.
So we're gonna ban this, right?
Right.
Initially. So initially, there will not be bonding fees,
Okay.
right? Because we're gonna take this as a ban until we roll it into the bigger bond down the line for the total construction. So there won't be those fees, but,
It's gonna have to be legal fees for
there are
someone to
gonna
look
have
at
to be
the
legal
document.
fees. There may or may not be, some registry fees or
Recording fee.
recording fees, and all there will be recording fees and all of that. There may be,
Title fees,
if we have to look at the land and like, what's it,
Assessment.
survey,
survey, thank you.
that survey, title, deed.
Depending on the piece of property, we had talked about doing
Yeah.
some surveying stuff. All the rest of the stuff will be there too, but, I think that,
Can we estimate all that by the time by January 8th at the latest?
I think so.
yeah, because I mean, the registry fees, that's all there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what that all is.
Yeah,
The legal fees, we should be able to get that from
Does that
KP.
come under the heading of more or less?
well, I think it's too much more.
Yeah, you know, it would be probably about that,
Yeah,
30. So you really, and we can't absorb that in the town budget.
yeah, and it doesn't feel appropriate, so, okay, so.
So
great question.
will there be some way to say which also includes all
Yeah,
legal?
so
and
that, right,
other
so that's
fees?
the other thing.
We say that. In the actual article, to authorize the select board. Well, and any, to see it raise appropriate to purchase municipal.
And for all other related, oh no, wait, no further authorizing select board to enter into all agreements and execute all
I don't
documents.
think it
So
says
no.
there.
Doesn't
It
say.
Okay.
doesn't say it.
So I think we have to put it in the summary. This article seeks authorization to purchase it. The parcel allows for this. The appropriation would cover the cost of the property acquisition and
And
related expenses.
expenses,
So it is there.
We
Yeah.
just need to add that.
Doesn't have to be though up in the actual,
I don't know. Should it be up there?
No, because it will be this,
you're voting on what's above, you're not.
but we're
voting-
not voting on what's above, because this isn't gonna be the actual motion. The actual motion will be written differently usually from the attorney.
Similarly, but different.
Right, it'll
Right.
be very similar, but it won't be, so, to see more or less to purchase from municipal.
So the
Again,
amount, the first amount will say something like 1.2002 thousand or.
Yeah, it'll have whatever that estimate comes in at, 30,000, 50,000, it'll be whatever plus.
Mary,
Yeah.
so if you go to the top here, sum of X dollars more or less to purchase for public safety purposes.
Yep,
A certain parcel of land located in Boxborough shown as and containing approximately for the purpose of construction, new firehouse and all related municipal purposes. Somewhere we should maybe put, all related expenses.
okay.
I don't know where to put that though, because it's,
I think it should,
To purchase
including all
certain
related
parcel of land,
related
so,
expenses.
How about on the last line where it says affect acquisition, including related expenses? Last line.
agreement, all documents that may be necessary to effect acquisition. Including all related expenses, does that make sense? So select board to enter into all agreements and execute any and all documents that may be necessary to effect said acquisition, that's like a separate.
I feel like it should be up top.
yeah, to see if the town will vote to raise appropriate blah, 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 the sum of X more or less to purchase the land, comma, including related
Related
expenses, well, including the parcel, let's make multiple sentences.
Yeah.
To purchase for public safety purposes, a certain parcel of land located at Boxborough shown on it and containing approximately X acres. Okay, period, after acres.
Yeah, period,
uh,
then, something as simple as all.
I mean,
Expenses related thereto. You want to sound lawyerly, or just all expenses, all related expenses for the purpose of constructing a new fire station and all other related safety, public safety purposes.
so I like simpler. This includes the land acquisition cost and related expenses
Mhm.
for the purpose of constructing a new firehouse
Yeah.
and for all other related public safety purposes.
Sounds good.
That's good.
Okay, and further to authorize blah, blah, blah. Great.
I totally missed exactly where you wanted to put that,
It goes
After
acres, there's a period,
period.
then starts, this includes
This includes, yep,
the land acquisition cost and related expenses for the purpose of constructing the land acquisition costs and related expenses for the purpose of constructing a new firehouse and for all
Okay.
other related public safety purposes.
Larry, do you still have your hand up from earlier? Or do you have? Did he just leave?
yeah, let me just put it down.
Oh, okay,
He just-
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, I took it down.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to be sure we were ignoring.
still
it.
here.
Okay,
Okay.
The language you used, it said fire station and all other related public safety purposes, would you want to use that language the same above? Because someone may question.
Yeah, no, we talked about
police-
that. Yeah,
You did say that?
we said
Yeah,
that.
that's-
under
No, I'm saying
purchase.
because originally you said change municipal purposes to public safety purposes, but that includes the police department. So I don't know if anyone will question that and call that out if you.
I'm gonna look at the zoning language and I'll come back with it next week. I have a note to look at it that way.
But it also calls out the firehouse. So if somebody,
Right.
we couldn't then, the select board couldn't say, you know what? Chief's good where he is. So we're just gonna now rebuild the police station
No,
because it's
I-
specific to
Right.
firehouse.
It's specific
Because
to
the
the
way
fire.
it says it in the last one, where you said fire station and all other related public safety purposes
Mhm.
includes emergency management, includes EMS, which is
Right.
all related to the fire department. So
Right.
that's why I was asking if the same language twice would make better sense.
To the above where it says to purchase for municipal purposes. Is that what you're talking about?
Purchase for a firehouse and related public.
Oh,
safety
he's saying here. Okay, I understand what
Oh,
you're
I
saying.
see.
I'm gonna
Okay.
make them parallel.
Okay. Got it. I
Maybe.
see. Now I understand.
2 times, say, public safety parallel. But I am gonna look at the zoning and try to match it to that, yeah.
I now have a question about these articles. So
Okay,
if we have two pieces of property,
yeah,
we're gonna do two separate articles.
correct.
Okay, and the order of which we can talk about, but we're not, it's gonna be article
Yeah, two
one,
completely.
this, okay, cool. I just
In
wanted
my
to-
mind, if we go forward with 2, we're gonna decide which do we think is the better, and that'll go first.
Yeah.
And the other one will go second, and if the first one passes, we're gonna pass over the second. But, okay, so if, anything else here?
Well, I was wondering, like, in the summary, we say like the parcel allows for effective emergency response coverage and response times. Is there anything else that we wanna say? Because I'm sure there's gonna be more pros, or is it only appropriate to put that information in there?
Well, again, we're gonna have a whole recommendation
And a
Put
presentation.
that in there.
and a
so-
presentation,
Okay.
so, I mean, it can be,
I mean, I guess what else would you think should go in?
But as you said, some people only read these
Yeah.
two things.
so. This is the hard part. We have to write the recommendations by the 9th, right? Or no, we have more time for the recommendations. I don't have my timeline. But we're gonna need this by the 9th. So I will draft recommendations for all 3. And then if you decide you like the language in the recommendation, you want some of it in the summary, we can do that.
We'll have time for that.
All
I will
recommendations
do
by
it
the
all
15th.
by
Right.
January 5th.
Right, because we talked last night about not having a meeting on the 15th at BLF because we thought we were gonna have all this information done before then. We had, right, meeting to finalize, but we thought we would be finalizing, we talked about that last night. We would be finalizing the language here. Because we scheduled the BLF meeting. for the
Because it says final language is due by 9 AM on the
Right,
9th.
right, which includes final language recommendations. That's how we-
No, because then, assign and take warrant article votes. No, this
Yeah,
is
the ninth
final,
is Final article language.
right, the 9th is final article language.
Okay, but we don't have a meeting this day. We don't have one scheduled. This is Kelly scheduled that for us apparently.
No,
No.
I don't
the
think
8th is-
so.
8th is your meeting.
the 8th, normally we would, I think I don't know, I can't remember anymore.
So,
So the
Um,
8th, it's due on the 9th, and you'd have it done in time because the meeting is the 8th.
Correct,
And that
but-
includes, where it says here, fire station building committee meeting, all final votes counts and approval approve written rec language, but we don't have a meeting scheduled for the 15th. So that we were talking last night, we said, no, we would be doing that on the 8th.
But
Because we have a meeting on the 5th and the 8th of January.
I know, but I think we also, we're gonna have one on the 15th.
Okay, so we didn't say that last night, and we booked BLF, which we can move.
Oh,
BLF,
I
but-
forgot about BLF.
but when we were
I thought
talking-
You guys were looking at this when we did that. We booked
Well,
BLF.
Yeah, because we specifically
We did.
said, we
We
talked
did.
about it, and
Yeah,
you
I
said, no,
forgot. I
it's the
just
second
can't-
and,
I can't keep it all in my head.
yeah. So
And the 15th isn't a normal week. Did we talk about having?
Yeah, we have a meeting. We have a meeting on the
We
15th.
have a meeting on the 15th. We're gonna change BLF.
Which
This
is
more
fine with me, but
important.
then, and then
This
we
is
also
more
gonna have a
important.
meeting on the 22nd?
No. I think we'll do the 5th, the 8th, and the 15th because of the timing of all of this.
Okay.
And then the 22nd, we can have a glass of wine.
We have it scheduled right now, the 22nd though, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when
Probably.
our normal meeting is.
That's
So
right.
we need to tell Kristen, we're gonna change BLF, that's fine, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna add fire station.
Okay. So, but in order to help, so I will do my best to write all the recommendations by the 5th, by January 5th, so that if we want to move language up from the recommendation into the summary, we can do that.
Because of what we said last night, and that we would be doing a vote on the 8th,
Yeah,
the select board also talked about changing their meetings, so we need to touch base with Kristen, not just about BLF. I think the select board was gonna move their meetings up a week, and FinCom was also gonna do the same thing.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do the recommendations. If I'm gonna have them by the 5th, we can vote it all by the 8th.
That's what we had talked about last night.
But I'm just gonna
But-
say, wordsmithing these is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And so it's gotta be up to the team. If I give it to you before the 5th, you read it for the 5th, we edit the heck out of it, bring it back on the 8th. Are you gonna be ready to vote it and we're done with it?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanna hold the 15th just in case.
That's fine, we can do
because
that,
We need
but we need to let
we
Kristen know
need to
that
get all this done.
they're scheduled too.
Isn't there some kind of a saying about if more than two people wordsmith a horse, it turns into a camel?
Yeah, I don't know, but,
That's a good one.
and I'm gonna keep this as tight as possible. I'm gonna keep these really, really short. So,
Okay,
Can I ask about one thing here?
yes,
We talked a few minutes ago about the added cost above and beyond the actual purchase, because we've got the title and all that.
Right.
So in the top, you're asking for an exact sum, more or less.
yes.
Should we make that up to a dollar
that would be
amount,
included.
more or less?
No, because in any warrant article, if we don't spend all the money, we give it back to the
Right.
town. So the up to isn't critical here.
And actually, because this is bonding, it's even different than that.
Yeah.
It is, what we would do is just not bond to the full amount. So it's not even that we're taxing for this, right? Or taking out of free
Right.
cash. We're just not gonna bond to the full amount. So,
All right, so I think we're done with that. I will bring the revised one next week.
For the 15th, just need to check with Judy if they can do that. It's not a regular week. And then, I just put a reservation in for the Grange room, but I don't know if there's another. I have a feeling that there may be somebody else who,
And we can meet by Zoom if we have to.
yeah.
Cause really, it's gonna be finalizing these articles.
right, because that's not
Hopefully
the
they're
15th.
done.
Hopefully we're done
Right.
on the 8th, but
Right.
that would be.
So the decision's made, we're wordsmithing and getting the final things in, and it's, the articles are done, the amounts are done, it's just the recommendation.
15th. Yes.
But then
Okay.
we can also do a Zoom meeting ourselves if we have to, like if they can't, like host it, we can.
Judy missed us.
Judy would miss us, no doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, also
Looking for this.
works.
Okay.
For me.
So I think we're done with that, which brings us to public outreach update.
We don't really have an update, right? We have, except for, do we have a date from Alec yet on the form?
No, I will get that tomorrow.
Okay, so that's the only thing we're waiting to get, so we can start putting those dates out there,
All right.
right? Yeah, is that right,
So
Sarah?
we
Now?
have everything else on the calendar.
And we are gonna try to do presents at Winterfest. I don't know if we said that last time.
And when is Winterfest? We did say that.
It's usually the last,
I thought I had it.
I mean, if it's the same schedule they always follow, it would be Sunday, the 25th.
January 25th.
Yes, but I'm not 100% sure of that.
By the way, Alan found the right quote. It
The
said,
chief did. That's the
oh, the chief did. A camel is a horse designed by a committee. I knew it was something like that.
All right. That takes us to minutes from November 20th. All right. Any comments, questions, edits?
On the second page, near the bottom, just below item B, Chair Brolin explained that context has added more time to the estimate. Didn't they add more cost to the estimate? Or is that the
More
point?
cost for the time.
It says more time to the estimate based on time. Would that be
Yes,
more cost to the
cost
estimate?
to
based
its
on time?
estimate based on time,
Yeah.
yes. In a separate amendment for time expected to be spent from January to March, yep.
Well, I know we're not spending any time on the swing space anymore, but there is a discussion here about it. And
Yes,
at the very top of page 3, it says does not include shipping and installation. I was just curious what that cost actually would be, because that should be part of the total. Did we ever find out what that would be?
No idea, because don't know the weight or the size or,
Yeah, we're not interested anyway. It's just the point of it.
right, it's just not included.
right, so the 4.4 million for the swing space estimate that we got, does not include that. So that estimate's $500,000 more than what Vertex estimated, and that's without
And
all the
that's without
shipping
that stuff.
installation. So clearly, we have not overestimated that.
It also didn't include the concrete footings or the anchoring devices. There was a lot of it. It also didn't include the installation of the doors,
Oh.
the overhead doors. So there's a lot not
Yeah,
included.
yeah,
We tried to get as much as we could.
I have a question about what's written. I'm not,
okay,
just need the answer.
yeah,
In the middle of the second page, it says the report notes that there is a parcel across the street and to the north, which has wetlands on it. This would need to be delineated. Why? It's not our parcel and it's across the street.
It's that's a regarding 1300
yeah,
and half that property, not half, but there's acreage across the street, which has it's not
This is
1300.
984.
Yeah, it said 984.
That's wrong.
oh,
No,
Well,
that's right, but I
there's
think
a-
the parcel you're talking about is
Oh.
975, which
No.
is being
No.
developed by.
What they were talking about is across Mass,
right,
Yeah.
there is wetlands across there and they want to make sure that we're, whatever, it's 100 feet back.
by delineating them, we could fall into a zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's,
That's what the civil engineering.
but I assume that those wetlands have already been delineated because 975 is in site plan review. So they had to have done them,
I'm sure
I would
because I walked that site and
right,
the 3 of us walked in, we saw the flag.
the flag, so it's already
Yeah.
been done,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we could
So
just,
we could.
we
look
should
for
be able
that.
to
We should
get
for
that information.
Yeah,
Right, Alex should be able to. provide
So it
that.
concerns us even though it's not on our parcel
right,
Because of the boundaries. I guess.
because of the boundary.
exactly, yeah. Great. So if there are no other edits, I'd take a motion to approve the
So moved. Second.
meeting minutes of November 20th as amended.
Horse and camel fast.
It's a 2-hump camel.
All right, so,
Oh, I'll
Oh,
take, I
yeah.
can take that.
so Mac moved, Alan seconded, and I'll take a roll call vote. Alan,
Aye.
Mac,
Hi,
Sarah,
Aye.
Maria.
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
and Mary, I. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna remind ourselves of meeting dates again. So we are meeting next week on December 11th. Then we're meeting on January 5th, where we're gonna really go through stuff and start making decisions. And,
Okay, hold on a second. We just said December 18th we're meeting. And you just said next week on December 11th. I just, in the beginning of this meeting, we said the 18th.
No, it's the
No.
11th.
Oh.
We didn't say the
On
eighteenth.
the summary that we, Matt made this, I think, right? Yeah, the summary.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be difficult. I'm
No,
trying to keep track of all
no,
these.
I know,
added
it's
things.
hard and it's hard when we go off cycle.
So we're doing December 11th.
Right.
We're not doing,
Then we don't meet again
Okay.
until January 5th.
Fifth.
We have to do homework. We're gonna get homework at the end of end of December.
right, no, we knew that. Okay.
And then we're gonna walk in January 5th and have good, deep discussion and start decision-making, finish on January 8th with warrant articles and hopefully recommendations.
And all three of those meetings are at a regular place and our regular time, right?
They're all at town hall. No more at the library in the foreseeable future, but we are looking at January 15th and we'll let you know the location of that.
And then the rest of January, we're holding open the 15th.
We're holding open the 15th. Do we want to then take off? Well, let's think about our forums are,
The forum is on the 28th, so I don't think we should take off 22nd.
right, so we're probably going to want the 22nd to talk about the prep for
Plus,
that.
we're still gonna have, there's a presentation that needs to be done based on the
Exactly.
information we're getting in, and we're still gonna be getting in the final reports and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And, okay,
I just wanna, we're doing a lot of work and, but this is hopefully the big run up and we want to lead to success. So
So you just said we're keeping the 22nd.
we're going to keep the 22nd. So we may have 4 meetings in January. All right. Any other updates we want to share? You were writing any other updates?
There was some discussion that started at the working group and then continued that discussion with the planning department about being a green community incentives and those sort of things. And I think that we'll have more information at next week's meeting, but there's not a lot of grant incentives or grants, I should say, not incentives, for the green community for new building construction. Most of it is like we have stuff that's going into some of our existing buildings now, but there are 2 opportunities that we may look at. One is if the fire station is it will be photovoltaic ready, but if we don't put the solar panels on, we could come back a year later, and that is a possibility. I'm going to get more details on that. Alec and Ian are working on that to see what the details of that are.
Yeah.
We also discussed the EV chargers for vehicles. Again, that's something that wouldn't be paid for with the initial construction of the building. There may be a chance at that later, but I don't know if that's something you want to put in later.
Well,
Just
like,
gotta put it in the
maybe a
ground.
Littleton Electric.
yeah, we can
Yeah,
talk
so
with Littleton Electric did the ones outside here.
Yeah.
Part of the question is the cost. Because like at the school, the building committee did not decide on cost. Is it free? Is there a charge? But there is a charge for this. They put it in though, and we can look at that. And we can look at other opportunities. I will say Barbara Salzman sent some of us an email. It was an announcement. Let me find it. Of Chelmsford will receive $1 million to support initiatives in 2 new fire stations, including a geothermal system at one facility and a fully electric heating and cooling and rooftop solar at both stations. When finished, the state-of-the-art fire stations will save the town over $57,000 a year on energy costs. But she did note that they had specialized stretch code in Chelmsford, and we don't.
Does it say where they got the funds from? Was it
It's
state?
the, She was reading the special grant opportunities available to communities who have passed the specialized stretch code and become climate leaders.
So it's gotta be state.
I think it's state, yeah.
And she could find out.
Speaking of the specialized stretch code,
Just so you know, Steve also has a hand.
Okay,
I had a conversation related to this with Alec and Ian this morning. And, we started talking about the specialized stretch code, which is down the road for us, probably. And I invited Alec to come to,
Did that just make a
as
noise?
a camel. I'm not.
Is it dying?
it's
What's
the
it
owl,
doing?
it's nighttime, it's calling for its friends.
That just, I've never heard that
So I
before.
invited Alec to come to next Wednesday's working group meeting, and we may either bring that information to next week's meeting or bring him to our meeting to talk about the timeline. Because when the town plans on doing that may impact the permitting of this station, so we do want to talk about that
Yeah.
some,
Well, that has to go in front of the town, right?
right?
Yes,
Right.
yes,
We want to see what's the town doing with that and what are we doing with this and how do those two timelines line up?
Right.
And so Alec will come to Wednesdays and we'll learn a little bit more about that, Wednesday and maybe, and it's way early to be talking about it, but we don't
Right.
want to think about it.
exactly.
So,
Just
Go
to
ahead,
that, to the other thing, so there was actually on mass.gov, it says the Healy Driscoll administration certified 9 new climate leader communities. And that is, it was through that they were able to get that money and be able to
Right.
obtain those things for the energy efficiency.
So that's what we would need to apply to be one of those leaders. Yeah, and I was thinking January, February, we start looking at grant opportunities, and I was thinking maybe Priya and I would have a sit down with Jamie and Dan and talk
Because-
about funding.
because Jamie was able to get, it's not a grant, it's a government, it's that
An
kind of
earmark.
carve out earmark, that's what it was, in Marlboro or Hudson for a public safety building. Because it came across my newsfeed because I have a building in Marlboro. And it was a significant amount. It was for a new building and I don't.
And it was for the building. I was thinking they might not be able to do construction, but maybe furniture or.
It was to go towards the
Yeah,
building. So
yeah.
I don't know if it was, and I can see if I can find that article.
Yeah,
In fact, I
yeah.
thought I sent you that article. Did I not? Maybe not. I'll go back and look. I
Yes,
thought
if
I
you can
sent it to
find
you.
it.
But yeah, so that's what exactly what I was gonna say is that we should approach them for that. Also, I believe that there may be, and I know it's kind of crazy on the federal level right now, but for a while, there was money around that. Is that this thing again? Okay. There was money around and I sent you and Rajon this, it was about a year ago, for municipalities doing buildings, green buildings, that kind of stuff, and there were grants through that as well.
Yeah.
And we could check with our two
My
state
guess
senators
is
to see.
that's not. gonna be out
Probably
there,
not, but you never know. Can't hurt to
Um,
ask.
Mary, unrelated, but semi-related, I sent you an email today. Our senator and rep are gonna come here on the 15th, and so we could talk with them
Okay.
then. That's to recognize the $100,000 that we got to put a generator on this building. But at that time, we could talk to them about, since you and I
Yes.
will be there,
Yes,
about getting some fire station money.
yep, absolutely. That's great. Okay.
Steve, did he?
Yes, Steve, sorry. We went a long way.
I just wanted to remind everybody, my understanding of the new energy code is the EV chargers do have to be installed based on 10% of your parking spaces. So I think I thought I heard someone say, well, we could do it after the fact. We would have to do it during construction. So
Okay.
and I did look a little bit at Littleton Light and some grants that may possibly be out there, but it definitely needs some more research.
Yeah, and that was me that said that, and it would be if there were gonna be additional charges, because you do have to put your,
The basic,
percent, yeah,
yeah.
you gotta put your base during the construction.
Okay. All right. This is all good. optimistically looking forward.
I know,
like
this is,
it. I
this
like it.
actually is the good part, once we can get a piece of property and start doing the
Exactly.
construction.
This is-
That was the fun part of the building project for the school.
Yeah, good. All right, if there's nothing else, I would take a motion
Oh.
to, nope.
Anybody want to add
Oh, public input.
public input?
Public input at the end of the meeting. Thank you, Matt. Anyone online, please raise your hand.
No.
Anyone in the room,
No
please
one in the
step
room.
up. Not seeing anyone, I would take a motion to adjourn and it's 8:54 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Alan moved, Mac seconded, roll call vote. Alan,
Yeah, aye.
Mac,
Aye.
Sarah,
I.
Maria,
Yeah.
Larry,
Aye.
Mary, I. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.